Hey everyone, it's Andrea checking in for WIP Wednesday, the Knitmas edition. So I talked a little bit about my Knitmas, Advent, countdown to Christmas, holiday knitting plans in the last video, which went up on last Sunday, and you guys gave me a lot of advice that I'm taking, and we're gonna talk about it. So for today's WIP Wednesday, I just want to go over a couple projects that I have in progress, and one of those projects, which you've seen in numerous other WIP Wednesday episodes, it is done. The Jethro cardigan is finished. I don't have it here to show. It is still wet. I'm still blocking it, but it is off the needles, it is done, and just take my word for it, it is glorious. I'm going to show more about that probably in Sunday's sit-down episode, but in the meantime, I have my new Advent making cast-ons ready to show, and I have swatched for a new sweater for last year's Advent. So I'm going to start with my Advent socks. They're in this cute little peanuts bag that my friend Jen made me in a swap we did a million years ago. It feels like a million years ago at this point. But these are my Freckled Whimsy socks. And the colorway this year is called Frosted Garland, and it is so pretty. It's these deep jewel tones, and I just love how these are knitting up. So I'm choosing to knit these in tandem, and I did get the DK weight version of the yarn. And like I've mentioned before, I'm still struggling to find my perfect fit with DK socks. So what I'm trying this year, my latest experiment, is size 2 needles and 52 stitches. It does seem to be much more, much less loose. It seems to be a tighter gauge. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more negative ease in these socks so that they just fit better. And on this one, I have this cute little Progress Keeper. It is from the Littlest Charm Co. It's a cute little pink star with a gingerbread on it. And then for my second sock, which I'm in the same place on that one, and I'm just doing a stripe a day, as you do. And then on this one, I have this cute little cup of cocoa with a gingerbread in it. I love gingerbread men, gingerbread people, gingerbread women, all of them. But look how cute that is, with the little marshmallows and then the gingerbread in the top. I love it. So there's my sock progress. Not too far. We're only on, this is obviously Wednesday, so it's day 3. And I did choose to get the mini with the sock set. So it's this kind of tan sand color. And what I ended up doing is I just did a couple rounds of that to start. I wasn't sure how thick the stripes were going to be, so I just did a couple rounds to give it that little pop of color at the top. But I love how these are working up. I really, really enjoy the DK base that Freckled Whimsy uses. It's so soft, and it's like knitting with velvet. I don't know how else to say it. So next up, I have a little progress on my Mystery Gnome Along, which is Gnandad's adventure. And we've had 3 updates so far. 2 of them were clues. This is clue 2. And then the one yesterday was just a part of the story. Now, I've already messed this up, and I'm not going back and fixing this, by the way. It's a gnome. It's fine. But here, where there's these like little green slip stitches, I was supposed to repeat that up here. So it was supposed to be kind of 2 offset rows of that. I realized it just as I was putting this down that I missed that row instruction. It's fine. I think this is going to be his hat, maybe? That's what it's kind of giving me, hat vibes. So we shall see as we progress. And so far we're just using colors 1 and 2, which these are just some leftovers that I have. This really pretty green, and then a gray with, it has a few speckles in it, not too many. Very light speckly gray. So there's that. Gnandad's hat, what I think is Gnandad's hat, is well on its way. Okay, so I mentioned that everybody helped me with something. So on Sunday's episode, I talked about wanting to make a sweater, a cardigan, and I had a couple options in mind for my advent from last year from Frogget Yarns. So I have the advent here, and they're kind of strung up, and this does not do it justice at all. Maybe next WIP Wednesday, once I start this cardigan, I'll lay these out and give you guys a better peek at all of these colors. But it's very much a sort of like rainbow gradient type of fade. And I put the call out and I gave 3 options. There was the Stephen West bubble cardigan. There was the macaron by Espace Tricot. And then there was the JC cardigan by Isabel Kramer. And they're all beautiful, beautiful garments. They are all cardigans, all fingering weight, although the macaron one does use some fluff held with the fingering weight yarn. And I just couldn't decide which one to do. So as democracies work, I put the vote out to the people. And it was an overwhelming majority. Almost every single person said, make the bubble cardigan. So that's what I'm gonna do. Now, I obviously haven't started it yet. You just saw all of those yarns still strung up. But I did go ahead and I made a swatch. Now, I wanted to make sure that I use the same exact base as what those yarns are. So I went back through my leftovers and I pulled out my leftovers from last year's Stephen West Mystery Knit Along Shawl, Go Go Dynamo. And I have these colors left over from Frogget Yarns as well. And again, this is the same base that the Advent's dyed on. And I really wanted an apples to apples comparison with this swatch. I didn't want to just swatch with any old fingering weight yarn. I wanted to use this base, but I also didn't want to crack into my Advent to do it. So these 2 colors, this is Fern and this is Winter White, which on the screen, it's actually quite, I feel like it's quite accurate. It is a very, very, very pale green, and it's a nice option to not have to use just like bare undyed yarn. So there's that. And yeah, look at me swatching again. Who am I? I'm such a big girl knitter now with all these swatches I've done this year. So there it is. I even blocked it last night. I put it on like the little heating vent so it would dry. And I really, really like how this turned out. And to be honest, I'm just looking at this and this green and then this pale green together. It would be stunning in just 2 colors. And I'm not saying I will ever make this again, considering I haven't even made it the first time. But if you ever want to make the bubble cardigan, it does look stunning in high contrast 2 colors. There's my swatch. I still need to measure this. When I measured it pre-blocking, I was a couple stitches off from gauge, just a couple. And to be honest, I'm not too worried about that. If you look at the sizing on Stephen's pattern, he includes a schematic. Thank you, Stephen, for including a schematic with all the parts and pieces being measured. it measures big and it's intended to be an oversized cardigan, but I don't think I want this that oversized. So the fact that I'm measuring a little short, not a big deal. If it comes out smaller, there's so much positive ease in this thing. I don't think it's going to matter that much. And I already know that I'm probably going to modify the, and there's a word for it. I'll put it down here if I think of it later. But basically the armhole size, there's like a technical term for that that's completely blanking from my brain. But the armhole size is really, really large for the sizing of the sweaters. So I think on the smallest size offered, the armhole is like 25 inches, and that seems like a lot to me. So I'm probably going to modify this. It's knit top down. You start at the shoulders and then you kind of go down the front. I'm probably going to modify it to have less of a drop. It's a drop sleeve design or a drop shoulder design. So I just don't know if I want something like that big and baggy around my biceps, because it just, when that happens, and I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now, and this is exactly illustrating what I mean. So you can see it kind of pulls here, like at the shoulders and the armpits, and I just don't love that look, but I think it's going to be easily remedied by switching up where I stop the armhole and then where I do the join to just start the body. So easy enough, right? It sounds easy enough, at least in my brain. We're going to find out as I'm making this, and you're going to follow along here on WIP Wednesdays to watch my progress and see if this theory works out for getting it modified to my liking. That's also one of the good things about knitting or making your own clothing or accessories or garments. Like, the pattern's there, but just like a recipe when you're cooking, it's kind of more of a suggestion, right? So that's all I have for you today for WIP Wednesday. This will be a pretty quick one. I do have another pair of socks on the needles here. This is my Sheepy Shire yarn. I haven't made any progress since you saw this on Sunday's episode. I was just too busy working on getting Jethro all finished and blocked, and then working my way through this swatch and working on Gnandad. But I'm hoping maybe by Sunday there will be some progress on these, but if not, hopefully by next WIP Wednesday. So be sure that you're subscribed so that you get the updates in your feed for all these videos, all this progress on all these fun festive makes. And be sure to like the video if you found this interesting or helpful or entertaining in any way. I'll see you back here probably on Sunday with more fun festive makes. Until then, happy making!